of song and tributes was followed by a memorial candle light in honor of Chief Edwin Kiagbodo Clark in Abuja.
And on the forum scene, the Human Rights Watch has accused Burkina Faso government forces and allied militia of killing over 130 civilians near the western town of Salanzo 2 months ago. The group alleges that the massacre occurred after an operation led by Burkina Special Forces resulted in widespread civilian death and displacement of ethnic Fulanese. According to the group, it interviewed witnesses, militia members, journalists and the civil society, and analyzed videos shared on social media to make the findings regarding the army's involvement in the March killings. It urged the government to investigate and prosecute all those responsible for the crimes. And now to sports. Champions Edo Queens determined to defend title in Women's Super 6 tournament. Joy Ezefula is our guide on sports news.
Bayelsa Queens came from behind to draw 1-0 with Nasarawa Amazons in match day 2 of the ongoing Nigeria Women's Football League NWFL Super 6 tournament ongoing at the Remo Star Stadium, Ikene, Ogun State. Janet Akeke-Removie gave her team Nasarawa Amazons the lead from a spot kick in the 56th minute before substitute Doshima Tokon restored parity for Bayelsa Queens through a superb free kick in the 63rd minute. The draw gave both clubs 4 points from 2 games, having registered wins in their first games on Saturday. Currently, Rivers Angels of Port Harcourt are confronting defending champions Edo Queens. Both sides are aiming for outright wins, having suffered opening day defeats. Debutants Remo Stars Ladies, whose men's team lifted the Nigeria Premier Football League NPFL trophy yesterday, stunned Edo Queens 1-0, the same margin by which Bayelsa Queens pipped neighbors Rivers Angels on Saturday. The Rivers Angels versus Edo Queens match will conclude match day 2 action at the Women's Super 6 tournament taking place at the Remo Stars Stadium. The NWFL Super 6 tournament determines the overall winner of the Nigeria Women's Football League. That was an update on sports. Joy Ezefula.
And now to today's commentary, which is on protecting the rights of older persons in Nigeria. It is written by Daniel Karl Marx of our Kaduna Zonal Station.
The absence of social protection for older persons in Nigeria has remained a major challenge. Regrettably, the government and indeed some family members are accused of being responsible for the retrogressive conditions of older persons, especially in developing countries. The situation perhaps explains why the United Nations is taking the issue seriously as it has created avenue to ensure digital equity for all ages. This initiative is based on the fact that digitization has revolutionized living conditions, and older persons are far behind in use of modern digital technologies. Since the entire world has gone digital, there is every need for older persons to be carried along so that they too can be compliant in addressing issues affecting their well-being. These sets of people should be able to figure out issues of pension, medicals, and other social services that are done electronically using smart devices. In Nigeria, older persons constitutes good percentage and they need care, hence the need for them to be protected through the implementation of the already adopted measures. The measures will ensure that the most vulnerable amongst them are not exposed to dangers associated with aging, especially discrimination, which is still highly prevalent in the Nigerian society. It is in compliance with the aforementioned standards that the United Nations at the time visited Nigeria to assess how these safeguards are implemented with a view to fashioning out better ways of treating older persons. The United Nations independent expert on the enjoyment of all human rights for older persons, Claudia Mala, said at the end of a 12-day visit that enhanced commitment on the part of government will translate into the adoption of the National Senior Citizens Center Act. Also, it will mean the establishment of a dedicated center at federal and state government levels to make certain that the human rights of older persons are mainstreamed in all government programs and activities. More significantly, the pending bill, known as the Older Persons' Rights and Privileges, will no doubt offer the most comprehensive legal framework available to address, among others, the social and economic challenges triggered by aging, particularly housing, feeding, and medication. In a related development, older persons in vulnerable situations, especially those with disabilities, internally displaced, and others living below the poverty line, should be given attention when implementing legal and policy tools. Most importantly, continued efforts along with political will and appropriate budgeting must be strengthened to ensure that legal and policy safeguards are directed to protect the rights of all older persons in Nigeria. In addition, there is a need to cater for older persons without recourse to sex, gender, ethnicity, religion, disability, and their living and economic situations to ensure a life of dignity.
Maria Mukesanjo with that commentary on protecting the rights of older persons in Nigeria, as written by Daniel Karl-Marx. Now for weather update, Abuja is partly sunny with temperature at 34 degrees Celsius, while Ibadan is partly cloudy with temperature at 32 degrees Celsius. And Port Harcourt is mostly cloudy with temperature at 31 degrees Celsius. Abakaliki, Gombe, Kaduna and Ilorin are mostly sunny with temperatures ranging from 34 to 40 degrees Celsius. To end the news, here's a recap of the major stories. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAMB has commenced investigation into alleged complaints of glitches during the 2025 UTME. The Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Mr. Benjamin Kalu, says the 10th House of Representatives, has passed over 1,000 bills in less than 2 years. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, said it has not appointed any agent or intermediary to offer contracts, financial grants, and intervention funds to the public. We also reported that Human Rights Watch has accused Burkina Faso government forces and allied militia of killing over 130 civilians near the western town of Solenzo 2 months ago. That's the news edited by Emmanuel Kutara and the production team. I am David Omoru. NAFDAC and your health is next.
Let's have some peace. Nigeria.
You want me daddy? Oh, Bobo Sendu. Amuludun FM 99.1. Omele jijiji. Seti aráyé. Jọ̀wọ́ má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ o. Àtàwọn yọ. Àní o má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ o. Àtàwọn yọ. Ó yá ọ̀rẹ́ mi o. Àtàwọn yọ. Ètò àtàtà lóríṣiríṣi. Àtàwọn yọ. Ìròyìn àsìkò tó kún rẹ́rẹ́. Àtàwọn yọ. Pápó lówó ọjà lọ́dọ̀ tíá. Àtàwọn yọ. Gbogbo ayé ló ń gbọ́ wa. Àtàwọn yọ. Ẹ̀yin tèmi Abẹ́lì nǹkan. Àtàwọn yọ. Ó yá máa gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ ṣe. Àtàwọn yọ. Amúlùdùn FM Moniya ní Ìbàdàn. Àtàwọn yọ. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi. Àtàwọn yọ.
generation ilé ayé ẹ jẹ́ ká mú lẹ́sọ̀lẹ́sọ̀ ká ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ilé ayé ò tó torí ẹ ṣe kìràkìtà ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan ilé ayé ò ṣe torí ẹ ṣe kìràkìtà ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan. Ilé ayé ẹ jẹ́ ká mú lẹ́sọ̀lẹ́sọ̀ ká ṣe jẹ́jẹ́ ilé ayé ò ṣe torí ẹ ṣe kìràkìtà ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan ilé ayé ò ṣe torí ẹ ṣe kìràkìtà ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan. Omi tá a bá dà sórí ilẹ̀ ló bọ̀. Omi tá a bá dà sórí ilẹ̀ ló bọ̀. Tó bá dọjọ́ ọjọ́ kan a ó jìyìn iṣẹ́ wa a ó jìyìn iṣẹ́ wa o Ọlọ́run ọba. Iṣẹ́ wa, a ó jìyìn iṣẹ́ wa, Ọlọ́run ọba. Èmi ni mo jù ẹ́ lọ, ìwọ ló jù mí lọ, ló dá wàhálà sílẹ̀ nílé ayé. Èmi ni mo jù ẹ́ lọ, ìwọ ló jù mí lọ, ló ń dá wàhálà sílẹ̀ nílé ayé. From generation to generation nílé ayé. Ẹ jẹ́ ká mú lẹ́sọ̀lẹ́sọ̀ ká ṣe jẹ́jẹ́. Ilé ayé ò ṣe torí ẹ ṣe kìràkìtà. Ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan. Ilé ayé ò ṣe torí ẹ ṣe kìràkìtà. Ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan. Vanity upon vanity, all is vanity, vanity. 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 Asán nínú asán, òfò lórí òfò, asán lórí asán. Òfò lórí òfò, vanity upon vanity, all is vanity, vanity. Vanity upon vanity, all is vanity, vanity. Ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́mọdé ẹ má ṣe jà o. Ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́mọdé ẹ má ṣe jà o. Ìyàwó pẹ̀lú ọkọ ẹ má ṣe jà o. Ọ̀rẹ́ pẹ̀lú ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ má ṣe jà o. Ẹ̀gbọ́n pẹ̀lú àbúrò ẹ má ṣe jà o. Má ṣe jà, má ṣe fàjọgbọ́n, ṣọmọlúwàbí láyé rẹ o. Má ṣe jà, má ṣe fàjọgbọ́n, ṣọmọlúwàbí láyé rẹ o. Èrè wo nìjà ní tó ṣe kókó? Èrè wo nìjà ní tó ṣe kókó? Ohun tó wà nílé ayé pọ̀ ju tìjà. Ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan. Ohun tó wà nílé ayé pọ̀ ju tìjà. Ilé ayé ò tó nǹkan. From age of 1 to age of 20, àṣìwà lọ́mọ ìbáwí. From age of 1 to age of 20, àṣìwà lọ́mọ ìbáwí. From age of 20 to age of 40, a ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ayé. From age of 50 to age of 60, àgbàṣe nǹkan ní. From age of 50 to age of 60, àgbàṣe nǹkan ní. From age of 60 to age of 70, ọjọ́ ti dalẹ̀. From age of 80 to age of 90, over 90 years. Vanity upon vanity, all is vanity, vanity. Vanity upon vanity, all is vanity, vanity. Asán lórí asán, òfò lórí òfò. Asán lórí asán, òfò lórí òfò. Vanity upon vanity, all is vanity, vanity. Ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́mọdé ẹ má ṣe jà o. Ìyàwó pẹ̀lú ọkọ ẹ má ṣe jà o. Orílẹ̀-èdè sórílẹ̀-èdè ẹ má ṣe jà o. Ọ̀rẹ́ pẹ̀lú ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ má ṣe jà o. Má ṣe jà, má ṣe fàjọgbọ́n, ṣọmọlúwàbí láyé rẹ o. Má ṣe jà, má ṣe fàjọgbọ́n, ṣọmọlúwàbí láyé rẹ o. Má ṣe jà, má ṣe fàjọgbọ́n, ṣọmọlúwàbí láyé rẹ